Paul DePietro, a real force, the leading scorer in the Ontario Hockey League. It's his 4th year in the league. Just an outstanding offensive talent. They had a big Paul DePietro night here on Friday night. He's from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. He's playing against the Sioux Greyhounds. You couldn't have writ a better script than the one they had. He scored a goal with 7 seconds left to tie it up and then scored the winner in overtime. And a big night for the Sault Ste. Marie native here in the Nicholas City.
CHL Player of the Month for January. He's in his 4th season, as you mentioned. A real veteran and a real fan favorite here in Sudbury. 17:10 to play in the first period. 0-0 between the London Knights and the Sudbury Wolves. Wolves back in their own zone. Kevin Policy trying to get it out. He's bumped along the boards. Puck cleared up over the glass. 49 seconds to go in the offsetting minor penalties. 6:53 to go in the first period.
You know, Paul, we talk about the rebuilding job Sam McMaster's done. There's a good example of it. Jason Young, a local rookie, not very highly touted coming in. He was Sudbury's 4th round pick, but he's now the leading scorer in the leading rookie scorer in the Ontario League.
And he has carved out his niche on this team with hustle and with persistence. Solid work like this along the boards to chase down a loose puck. Has to be a candidate for Rookie of the Year.
A leading candidate at this point, Paul.
Sean O'Connell moving it up. Knocked down at center. Gavardi dropping it off in behind his own net. Bulldozing his way in there is Dennis Purdy. Running over his man. The puck trapped underneath him. Here's another one of those London fire plugs.
Dennis Purdy leads the Knights in game-winning goals this year. He's got 6 of them. Comes up with the big goal at the big time for Wayne Maxner's team. He's from Windsor, Ontario. He's not draft eligible in the National Hockey League till 1991. At 5'10", 185, he's got to put on a little size and weight. But when he does, he'll be a top prospect for the NHL draft in '91.
Kind of a Rick Tocchet type. After it in the corner, Purdy knocked down, getting some help in there from Scott McKay. They battle along the boards. Holding the fort in there is Barry Young, number 3 for the Wolves. Puck knocked away back to the line. Corriveau whips it across. Boyd shoots. That stop, rebound in front of the net. Cleared in back of the goal. Darcy Cahill with a big play there. Out at center. Cahill, number 12, in over the blue line. Shooting. Tanner with the stop. He's going to hang on. Solid stop by Tanner, and back at the other end, David Gavardi looking pretty good for the Sudbury Wolves.
Some real good work here. A good save by Gavardi. Didn't have a good view of the puck. That's going to be the game plan for the London Knights, is to get in front of Gavardi, jam it up so he can't see those shots clearly.
Gavardi rated as probably the best goaltender in the Ontario Hockey League and one of the top 5 junior goalies in Canada.
He's rated number 3 by the Central Scouting Bureau for this year's National Hockey League draft. Was overlooked last year, but really come on this year. Likely to go in the top 3 rounds of the NHL draft.
Dave Anderson breaking down for London, clears it in, spun around at the line. He continues in after it. In back of the goal. Anderson will peel off now. LaForge bumped. Dan LeBlanc moving up. Outside the blue line now. Sinishin trying to come back in. Fired in by Mark Guy, number 4. Gavardi leaving it in back of the net. Cleared up around the boards. Bouncing around. Finally, Bennett gets a hold of it. Big Adam Bennett pivots in his own end. Pass a little bit too high for LaForge. Young knocked down. Taylor back in for the Knights. Pings it off the boards and continues in. He's got Anderson going for the net. Taylor back of the goal trying to get it to him. Here comes Anderson to help out. He is belted in there by Alain LaForge. And we're going to have a penalty coming up against the Sudbury Wolves. So the Knights will get a cut at things in the power play as Alain LaForge heads off.
Alain LaForge is the younger brother of Mark LaForge, a person of some note in the Ontario League. He received what amounted to a lifetime ban for some violent activities he had while he was a member of the Sudbury Wolves. But LaForge, his brother, the younger guy, is much more controlled and is considered one of the best defensive forwards in the Ontario League.
Over from Niagara Falls earlier this season. And he gets a little bit over-exuberant playing it back of the net. That's actually not the penalty. The penalty was a little bit after that when LaForge came in and took his man out from behind. They call it boarding. So a power play chance for the London Knights. Corriveau in back of his own net. Brother of Ivan Corriveau in the Washington Capitals organization. Up to Trevor Dan.